Welcome back to Narrations. Some mothers love through control. Some daughters love through rebellion. And sometimes the distance between them is just another form of closeness they don't know how to name. Tonight's story is about a girl who wants to escape her hometown, and the mother who is terrified of being left behind. This is Lady Bird. It's about pride. About class. About ambition. And about the way love hides inside criticism. Christine McPherson hates her name, so she renames herself Lady Bird. It's not a nickname someone gave her. It's a declaration. An act of authorship. She writes it on school papers. Introduces herself that way. Corrects teachers who call her Christine. Because if she can rename herself, maybe she can rewrite where she comes from. Lady Bird lives in Sacramento, California, a place she insists is the Midwest of California. She attends a Catholic high school not because her family is wealthy, but because her mother insisted on the structure. Her house is modest. The walls thin. Money is always a topic, either directly or hovering unspoken in the air. Her mother, Marion McPherson, works double shifts as a psychiatric nurse. She is practical, sharp, efficient. She buys second-hand dresses but insists they look intentional. She clips coupons. She knows exactly how much everything costs. She also knows exactly how much Lady Bird costs. The film opens with mother and daughter listening to an audiobook together in the car. The Grapes of Wrath. They cry at the ending. They share a rare moment of quiet unity. And then, almost instantly, they are arguing. About college. Lady Bird wants to go to school. Where culture is. New York. Maybe Connecticut. Somewhere East Coast. Somewhere prestigious. Marion laughs, not cruelly, but incredulously. With what money? The argument escalates quickly. Lady Bird accuses her mother of not believing in her. Marion accuses Lady Bird of being ungrateful. And in one impulsive act of teenage drama, Lady Bird opens the car door and throws herself out. It is reckless. It is theatrical. It is exactly who she is at 17. Their relationship operates on that rhythm: closeness, rupture, silence, repeat. Lady Bird longs for reinvention. She wants to live in an old house with character. She wants intellectual friends. She wants romance that feels cinematic. Her best friend, Julie, is loyal and grounded. But Lady Bird drifts toward a more popular girl, Jenna, chasing proximity to wealth and status. Class is an undercurrent in everything. Lady Bird lies about where she lives. Pretends her home is in a nicer neighborhood. She wants to be seen as someone already elevated. At home, finances tighten. Her father, Larry, is laid off and hides it quietly, trying not to bruise his own dignity. Marion carries more financial pressure now, which sharpens her tone further. Lady Bird interprets her mother's stress as hostility. Marion interprets Lady Bird's dreams as delusion. Neither sees the fear beneath the other's stance. Lady Bird joins the school theater production and meets Danny. Danny is sweet, sensitive, earnest. Their first romance unfolds gently: shared rehearsals, awkward kisses, teenage vulnerability. For a moment, Lady Bird feels chosen. But the illusion fractures when she discovers Danny is gay and hiding it. The betrayal is less about him, more about the fact that even her first love is not the grand narrative she imagined. At home, Marion continues correcting Lady Bird constantly. Her tone is critical, but her actions reveal something different. She buys Lady Bird a prom dress within budget. She researches colleges quietly. She folds laundry meticulously. There is a scene in a thrift store where they try on dresses together. For a few minutes they laugh. They admire each other in mirrors. They look almost identical. And then the moment passes. Arguments return. Lady Bird applies secretly to East Coast schools despite her mother's insistence on in-state options. Her father helps quietly, filling out financial forms without telling Marion. Because he understands something Marion cannot say, Lady Bird must leave to become herself. After Danny, Lady Bird does not retreat. She recalibrates. If sweetness failed, she decides, sophistication must be the answer. That's how Kyle enters her orbit. Kyle is different from the boys in theater. He leans against walls like he's above everything. He smokes clove cigarettes. He plays bass in a band and speaks in detached irony. He calls things bourgeois, as if the word alone is rebellion. Lady Bird is mesmerized. Not because he's kind, but because he feels cultured. He feels like the East Coast she imagines, moody, intellectual, disinterested in Sacramento entirely. She shapes herself around him subtly. Laughs at references she barely understands. Nods at music she hasn't heard before. Pretends detachment she doesn't feel. At home, tension tightens. Marion discovers the secret East Coast applications. The betrayal cuts deep, not because Lady Bird applied, but because she did it in secret. Marion sees it as rejection. As proof that everything she sacrificed was insufficient. They fight in small bursts now. Shorter sentences. Longer silences. The house feels heavier. Lady Bird loses her virginity to Kyle in a moment she has built up as cinematic. It is not. It is awkward. Unceremonious. Kyle casually reveals afterward that he isn't even a virgin himself, contradicting what he told her before. The realization lands quietly. She did not ascend into sophistication. She was naive. And the pain isn't dramatic. It's hollow. That night, she calls Julie, the friend she neglected in pursuit of popularity. They cry and laugh and reattach their bond without ceremony. Lady Bird begins to understand that reinvention often costs something real. Prom night arrives. Cal doesn't want to go. Thinks it's pointless. Lady Bird attends with Julie instead, dancing awkwardly, freely, not ironically. There is something healing in that choice. At home, her father confesses that he's been depressed since losing his job. He apologizes for not being stronger. Lady Bird sees him clearly in that moment, not as background, but as fragile and human. She hugs him. The world feels less black and white. Acceptance letters begin arriving. Rejections first. Then waitlists. And finally, an acceptance to a college in New York. Marion refuses to celebrate openly. She insists it's too expensive. Too far. But Lady Bird's father encourages her quietly. He knows Marion's resistance is fear disguised as practicality. The final days in Sacramento are charged. Mother and daughter orbit each other carefully, avoiding detonations. The airport scene arrives almost without warning. Marion drives Lady Bird to the airport. They do not resolve everything. There is no cinematic apology. Marion drops her off abruptly and drives away before Lady Bird can fully process it. Inside the terminal, Lady Bird feels abandoned. But on the drive home, Marion pulls over. She brakes. She tries to return to the airport, but traffic prevents it. The image lingers, a mother stuck between pride and grief. In New York, Lady Bird begins again. She introduces herself as Christine, for the first time. Not Lady Bird. Christine. The city is overwhelming and lonely. She drinks too much at a party. She gets sick. She wanders streets that no longer feel glamorous, just vast. She attends church alone one Sunday. Not out of devotion. Out of homesickness. Afterward, she calls home. Leaves a voicemail. Her voice is softer now. She talks about Sacramento differently, noticing its trees, its ordinary beauty, the way the sun looked in certain neighborhoods she once despised. She thanks her mother for driving her everywhere, for giving her everything she could, for loving her. The film does not show Marion listening to the voicemail, but we know she will, and that she will replay it. Because this is not a story about dramatic reconciliation. It's about gradual understanding. Lady Bird had to leave to see where she came from. Marion had to let her go to prove that love is not control. Lady Bird is not about escaping your hometown. It's about realizing it shaped you more than you wanted to admit. It's about a mother whose criticism was fear, and a daughter whose rebellion was longing. Sometimes love sounds like arguing. Sometimes it sounds like silence. And sometimes it's a voicemail left from far away. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this narration, please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next story.